It lets us know. So let's get started because there's lots we want to tell you about tonight. This masterclass is going back to basics because I'm seeing too much out there on, people that are doing all of these really complicated things. And then when I say to them, whereabouts are you in your business? And they're like, I'm earning 3,000 a month. I'm like, you're doing very complicated things for somebody that's earning 3,000 a month. Like, it isn't that complicated to get to 10, 15,000 months, really. You're only doing a handful of things. And so I wanted to, and, I've seen Charlie from when she first started, like way before she was under like the 6-figure mark. And I saw her do the same things that I did to get to the 6-figure mark. And then we got chatting and we realized that the clients that we have that go from 0 to 6 figures, they do the same things too. Like, we're teaching people the same stuff and it's not complicated stuff. And so that's why
I was thinking about this today. It's obviously, I knew that I was doing this masterclass, so I was thinking about it. And I wish that someone had told me, really, well, you probably did, to be fair, but I wish I'd listened. I wish that somebody had told me really early on, like 10K months and 15K months are easy. Like, it's easy to create that amount of revenue. It's not difficult. 100K months are a little bit more difficult, but still like completely in the remit of what is possible. Yeah. And I wish that I knew that really early on. And like, if anybody can let you know that, because I'm always like, Lisa Johnson's Lisa Johnson, but I'm not Lisa Johnson, so I can tell you bits. It is possible for you. It is out there for everybody. And it's actually very simple. And hopefully after this, you'll be like, oh my God, yeah, it is.
It is. So let's get into the simplicity of it. I'm just going to share my screen with you. I can see that some of you are inviting AI assistants on. Would rather you didn't. Because it does some weird things and it sometimes can do some mining to audiences, which I don't love. So if it disappears because we've thrown out your AI, we're not throwing out you, just your AI. Okay, let's share screens. Here we go. Oh, it's gone a bit weird. Let's get that on properly. There we go. Okay. So what we're going to be talking about is what to concentrate on to build a profitable business. And I'm not talking about a 7-figure business, because if I'm honest with you, once you get to 6 figures and the small multi-6 figures, about the 200, 300,000 mark, you do have to do some different things to get to the 7 figures. This isn't really for that. This is really for you if you are yet to get to the multi-6 figure mark. So I will leave Shelley to let people in. I'm going to ignore the chat now and go. So who are we? We'll tell you a quick bit about who we are. I'm Lisa. You've just heard Charlie. We've both built thriving businesses in a short time. So my business from 0 to 16 million pounds was 6 years. Charlie's got up to nearly 7 figures now, aren't you? In like 2 years or something ridiculous.
Yes, this is my 7-figure year, guys. You heard it here first. 7 figures is happening for me in 2024. So yeah, but I only started making money out of this business in 2021. So it's been in a short space of time.
And more than that, because it doesn't really matter about what we've done for ourselves, we've helped thousands of business owners to make more money as well. So we just wanted to say hi. I'm not going to really go into what we do because it doesn't matter. And I want to talk about you and what you can do rather than what we do. So first of all, I wanted to say congratulations for showing up for yourself. If you're here now, you've probably already got what it takes to do it, to make 6 figures, because most people don't even give themselves a chance by coming to learn, even when it's free. They talk about wanting to make 6 figures and 7 figures, but they're not actually doing very much to get there. The fact that you're here means you are doing something to get here. So congratulations. All right. Oh, there's still so many people coming in.
No.
So this training is for you, like I said, if you want to make 10 to 15,000 with a healthy profit margin, and that bit's really important. There is no point making 10 to 15K months if it's costing you 10 to 15K a month. Like, then you're not really making anything. We want a healthy profit margin, but also in a way that's sustainable and long-term. There are loads of ways you could do this as a con artist. There are loads of ways you could do this in a pyramid scheme. We don't want that. We're talking ethical business here. You don't need to worry that you might be too new or you're not ready. We hear that a lot. You're here for a reason. So let's assume that you're ready.
You are absolutely ready.
So
that's what you need to hear.
Yeah,
ready.
You're ready. No one ever thinks they're ready, by the way.
I always think, you're just one decision away from being a six-figure business owner. You get to make that decision. That's our invitation for you to tonight. Let's make that decision.
Yes, let's do it. Look, people are ready. Look at the chat. Everyone's like, I'm ready. Let's do this. You've got your volume turned up and you can't hear. I don't know whether it's a you problem. I'm not sure. I'm
guessing that everybody else can hear because they're like responding to us. So
yeah. Okay. Do any of these sound like you? You want to earn 10,000 a month, but there's always a but, isn't there? You don't want to sacrifice your lifestyle. You don't want to sacrifice your values. My values are really important. Don't know about you. Everywhere you look, you see examples of entrepreneurs and business owners working 80 hours a week, but you kind of want to keep your life, not give it away. It's possible because you've seen people doing it. You're just not sure how. If that's you, tell me in the chat that is you. Good. It's definitely Gemma. It's totally Gemma. Yeah, there's a few people. Okay. I want you to know that you don't have to work 80-hour work weeks and you don't have to do this sacrificing your values. This might be you. This was me. You've bought or subscribed to tons of different gurus out there, but you're still feeling lost because there's so much advice out there and everyone's peddling this one thing that you have to do to succeed in business. You've only got so much time. You don't know what to do with the small amount of time you have. Maybe you've got a 9-to-5, or maybe you have got your own business and you're kind of doing okay. But now the advice to get it to 10K months is like, you have to do this one thing. You have to do this one thing. I don't know about you, but that gives me massive analysis paralysis when I hear lots of different things to do. And then I don't do any of them because there's too many things.
Yeah, and if you listen to everyone, it's like, I've got to do this with my social media, I've got to do this with my sales, I've got to do this with my marketing, I've got to do this with my mindset. There aren't enough hours in the day to do all of those things. So you couldn't possibly do it all.
Yeah, and you don't have to.
No.
You just don't have to.
And actually, I've found the more successful I've got, the less hours I've worked. Another thing I wish I knew back then.
Yeah, and that always happens. Maybe you wish someone would just give you the roadmap and a compass because you don't have a lot of time to waste. You're doing the marketing in your business, the business development, the sales, the operations, and the admin, and you're them all. You don't have loads of employees, you're doing them all. And you want to follow a proven step-by-step process that takes all the guesswork out of what to do. So you can just reach that mark that you want to in months instead of years so that you can then scale the business. And maybe you're aching for a group of peers to share the journey with. I know I was, because you know that business can be lonely if you do it on your own. You dream about having a safe place to connect with others, ask questions, give caring support. I was like that too. For the next hour, that is this group. So today we're going to show you how to build a six-figure or six-figure plus. We can go over that a little bit, but not to seven figures with the information we're going to tell you without confusion and without having to do everything. So it's really about 5 main activities that you need to be doing to get to your revenue goals. Now, I want to tell you, there are a few others. There are 5 main things that if you just did those 5 main things, you would definitely make money. If you want to get to the multi-six-figure mark, there are a couple of others either side of this. And so what I'm going to do is we have a thing called a roadmap that we use in our mastermind. I'm going to show you that roadmap in this presentation. We're actually going to just go into it and show you it so you can see what the other things are, because I can't tell you everything, but I can show you it. So I just want to talk about revenue streams, because it's important that you realize that everyone has a different business model and that's okay. Like, there's no cookie cutter business model. You don't have to have a certain business model to make 6 figures. So the 4 streams in our businesses are a signature course through live launches. It's actually what most people know me and Charlie for, is our launches and our courses. Small digital products on Evergreen that people buy all the time. and memberships with more people in to build that email list in between launches. So membership is like a paid funnel at the end of the day. A high ticket mastermind, mine's 25,000. Charlie's is, I think,
15.
somewhere between 10 and 15, yeah, 15,000. And premium priced one-to-one VIP days and retreats. And then our fourth kind of stream is in some form of agency. So Charlie kind of has her sales, and we do launches, and we do books with a publishing company. So, you know, there's 4 different types of income streams there. It's not all coming from one place. Neither of us subscribe to the either or. Like, people will tell you all over the internet, this business model is better than all of the others. People will tell you that evergreen is better, launching is better, agency is better, high ticket is better. I actually think all of these business models, whichever business model you've got or you want, the same things, the same 5 things are going to make those business models succeed. It's no different. So I don't want you to think, yeah, but I've got an agency, so it won't be for me. I promise you that the same things.
And the same thing, I talk about this in sales all of the time. I'm not into cookie cutter. Lisa's not either. It doesn't work. I always want you to create a sales strategy that works for you and your business. So if you're sat there thinking, oh, well, Charlie is really good at selling because she's really confident and extrovert. Well, actually, it's not always extrovert people who make for the best salespeople. But what it is you stepping into your amazingness and creating a sales strategy that works for you and your business and that doesn't feel icky or sleazy or any of those things. And it's the same with your business model as well. Don't try and replicate what somebody else is doing. Do something that feels really great for you and the way that you're built up and the things that you love doing, rather than just trying to copy someone else. And that's a mistake I see people make all the time.
And actually, we'll show you in a bit later on in this presentation how to choose the business model that's right for you as well, because there is a way to decide what's the right business model for you, and most people don't do it. And the reason they don't do it is because they think, well, this business model is working for this person over here, so I'll do that one. And that's not the way to make these kind of decisions.
We've got so much good stuff, haven't we? It's like Aladdin's treasure trove of goodness. Just to bring it back
we do like this presentation. It's because it's new and shiny and we've only just done it. There's no one perfect business model that works for everyone. Like, you need to have options, and it depends on things like your personality, your strengths, your values, and then you find the business model that's right for you. It's not ever, I find, the business model that's the issue. The business model is not why you're not making the money you want to. It's the activities around the business, the 5 things you need to do. And it's not just about choosing the right business model. The most important factor of building a successful business is finding models that align to your values and in integrity with the life you want. Because if you haven't got that, what's the point of any of it? You're going to not enjoy it, and you're not going to want to sell from it because it won't be from an aligned place. And then you want to do these main key actions to sell in that business. So the best part about what I'm going to teach you today is that you can start to implement these activities in any business model. So it doesn't matter what model you're going to have. Let's get into it. Right then. The activity number 1 that I want you to write down so that you do this from now on and you spend time on this activity is getting your messaging right. It's massively important. So this is a thing to spend time on. There's a lot of things that you don't need to spend time on, but this isn't one of them. In 2024, people are only going to buy something that gives a solution to a problem or a massive desire. Not just a nice to have, it needs to be a must have. Now, in any cost of living crisis, or when people are thinking about recession or anything like that, people only buy 3 things. They buy wealth, or something that teaches them how to get wealth, health, including mental health, or peace of mind. Things like insurance, for example. So we need to make sure that your messaging is linked in 2024 to one of those things. If it's fluffy, or if it's if no one can really work out what you do because you're using some obscure title, it's not going to work for you in 2024. And we've already seen companies go under that had very convoluted titles for themselves because no one really knew what they did. And if no one knows what you do, you're not solving a problem that they have. People need to be able to look at it and go, I have a problem, this person has a solution. So messaging includes your overall mission and values, the things that you've probably already been taught, but it also needs to include your primary and secondary messaging. Now, what most people do here is they do their primary messaging. Primary messaging is, you know, I help this person with this problem by doing this thing. That's your primary messaging. Great. But the reason that people buy from you is rarely your primary messaging, because there are hundreds of people that sell what you sell. It's your secondary messaging. It's who you are. It's the thing that resonates. It's the thing you care about. It's the stuff that you're talking about that has nothing to do with your business that makes people buy from you. Most people that buy from me don't buy from me because I've made millions of pounds or because I've made other people make millions of pounds. They buy from me because they care about integrity, and that's one of their biggest values. And so, you know, you need to be talking about those things. If people buy from people that they like, you need to tell them who you are. Otherwise, you know, they're not going to know. And this is why faceless Instagram accounts can't work. And yet it's the biggest trend right now, and it's not going to work because people buy from people they trust. You can't trust someone that's faceless. So you need to really get smart with your messaging to stand out, because if lots of people are saying the same thing, what's different about you? Well, what's different about you is you. And yet most people are hiding that part of themselves. They're not showing who they are. And if they did, they would make more sales, and very quickly. So most people are getting all complicated on their offers and all their stuff over here. The messaging and the foundational work has got to be done before anything else will work. And I know it's not sexy. I know it's a little bit like, oh, I don't want to do any of that stuff. It's a bit boring. It's not the shiny stuff over here. I want to do that. But if you do this, it's the unsexy stuff that makes you money. And that's what you want.
I also think when it comes to messaging, less is more. Like if you can tell me in less than 12 words what it is you do, your messaging is probably really clear. And I always think, like when you go to one of those like round table events where everyone has to introduce themselves, I always think, who could I confidently introduce after that? Because that person has got their messaging right. And that's what we want to do, especially when it comes to sales, be able to convey our messaging really easily, but then for all of our audience to be able to convey that message easily for us as well. It's super important.
It's really important. So messaging, if you haven't worked on your messaging, and I don't mean just sitting there and going, oh, who do I help and what with? Like, this isn't ideal client work. This goes deeper than that. Then that's something that I would be spending, you know, I would be spending proper concentrated time on this thing. Okay, so here's where business owners go wrong with messaging. They think messaging is just about what you sell, and that's it. And they don't go deep enough with it. So we have a mastermind called Kickstart. And in that, we have content planning sessions to dig deeper into not just what's working practically, algorithm-wise, but also how to smarten up your messaging using sales psychology, because sales psychology is everything. You know, we know from years of experience how to sell. Like, it's what Charlie does every day, is uses sales psychology. And it's so important that that sales psychology goes into your messaging. It starts there. It doesn't start at the time that you're asking someone to buy your thing. So yeah, that's an important one. Number 2, go for it, Charlie.
Can I talk about number 2?
Yeah.
Audience building. Okay, this is one of my favorite topics of conversation. I always say you have got to be obsessed with getting in front of your target market so that you can build an audience. It's going to serve you massively. If we all had a massive audience to sell to, selling would automatically become a lot easier. And so many people spend all of their time doing all of the other things when actually audience building is what you should be spending a lot of your time on, because without an audience, you have nobody to buy your stuff. So one of the first things that you need to be doing is testing funnels and lead magnets. What do people actually want? Putting a lead magnet out there alone isn't enough. People are precious about who they give their email address to these days. It never used to be like that, but these days you have to fight for people's email address. So you've got to make sure that that lead magnet is something that speaks directly to your audience and goes, oh my gosh, that's something that I want, and that's what I'm going to sign up for. And we've got to get a perfect email list ready to sell to with the strategy that we know is going to work, and then get to it. Another really important thing, build an email list. That is so important. I remember back in the day, I was so obsessed with my Facebook group, so obsessed with getting the numbers in my Facebook group. No, my friends, email list is where it's about. I mean, do the Facebook group as well, because I love my Facebook group, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. And actually, if I had to choose now, if I was starting again, I wouldn't care so much about social media. I would care about my email list. I didn't have an email list for the first year. And that's so frustrating now, because if you look at the sales, like the millions are made in a trajectory of how big my email list is. It's very obvious what caused it. And you're looking at the long game when it comes to audience building. It doesn't mean you're not going to sell today. You are going to sell today and tomorrow. But the bigger you build your email list of the right people, an engaged email list, it's going to be so much easier for you to sell whenever you want to.
And the thing is, everyone's got an audience already that don't like turn around and say, I haven't got an audience. It doesn't matter if you've only got 10 followers, let's sell to them. But at the same time that we're selling to those 10, we're building an audience for a sustainable business model that's going to last long beyond those 10 customers. It's about a balance of both. This is what me and Lisa do really well. I'm like, short-term cash, let's bring it in. And Lisa's like, long-term strategy, let's do the sensible.
But you need both at the end of the day. And
yeah,
I feel like even if you don't know what you're going to sell yet, if you're like, I'm not really sure what I'm going to sell, if you know who you want to help, you can start growing that audience anyway, knowing that you can ask them what they need eventually, and then you'll be able to sell. But it can take a long time to grow an audience. I'm talking like 3 to 6 months to grow an audience plus. So you want to get started quickly. And yet there's so many people working on their offers who don't have an audience. And I just think it's a completely backwards way of doing it. Let's do the things that are going to make you money.
And the thing is, when your community go on that journey with you, like I'm thinking about putting out this offer, what do you think? And people are like, oh my gosh, I love that. I've done it with everything. I'm going on a retreat next week to Dubai. And I actually had all of the ideas of where I could host my retreat. And my community voted for the one that they wanted to do and what we should do whilst we were on it. And then when it opened up for purchase, people were really excited about it. So people love going on that journey with you. So start building your audience, start getting to know what they need, and then you can create your offers around it, and it might change slightly along the way as well.
Yeah, I call it co-creating with your audience, and I love it. Like, there's no better way to decide on what your offer is going to be than co-creating. And you need to find the quickest route to audience building, but using the messaging that we just did in number 1. So there's a lot of things that can work here, but I've definitely seen in 2024 that the biggest difference is that very basic lead magnets aren't going to get you there. It needs to be valuable. We've been putting out lead magnets that are freebies that would sell. You know, we would have for sale, and we do have for sale after the first month of them being out there for free. And it's been bringing us in around 3,000 new emails each time we do it, and we get a new one each month. So, you know, think of what your audience or your ideal client actually want. So where do business owners go wrong when they are audience building? They build the wrong audience. Who hasn't done that? And I think I've got the wrong audience. I think I've built the wrong audience because I've given out the wrong freebie. They grow an audience in the wrong place, or they simply aren't consistent enough.
Oh, can we talk about this for a minute though? Can we talk about the amount of people who start growing an audience and then no one's joining, no one wants to sign up to my email list or my Facebook group? You haven't given it long enough. You've only been doing it 2 weeks. Come on, we have to give this months, and we have to keep on consistently getting our message out there. That's how we're going to build an audience. I used to go live on a Sunday night every single week, and I was doing that for weeks before anybody watched. And now if I do a live, hundreds of people come. So you've got to be consistent. I'm passionate about that one.
Consistency is everything. And remember that consistency doesn't mean constantly. Like, you don't have to be constantly on social media. You just need to be consistent with when you are on. Yeah, like somebody's just asked, like, oh my God, I don't want to put a new freebie out every month. You don't have to. My first freebie was the same freebie for 2 years. Please don't think you have to. If you've got a really valuable freebie, one that's great, please just do that. Just put that one out there.
I've never had 3 freebies. Like, I definitely don't do a freebie a month. That would stress me out.
So in Kickstart, in our mastermind, what we do to help with this is we have hot seat strategy calls to make sure you're building the right audience the right way, and one-to-one accountability strategies to keep your consistency on track, because consistency is everything. Okay. Only when you've done those first 2 things should you start looking at activity 3, which is offer creation. There's no point doing this first, and yet this is the thing that most people work on because it's fun, isn't it? It's fun to think about what you're going to sell. So you need to make your offer a no-brainer. This can't be a, oh, this will be nice to have at some point. It doesn't matter how you're going to sell it. So it doesn't matter whether your model is evergreen, you know, you're selling it all the time whenever anybody wants it, or launching where it's open for just like a week, like some of my things are, or high ticket. The thing that matters is what you sell, not how you're going to sell it. So like we said, co-create with an audience wherever possible. Ask your audience, when you've grown them, what they want. Because even if you have an audience of 50 people, they're going to tell you what they want, and then you're going to be able to create it for them. And then make the offer so good it's irresistible. So I don't know whether any of you are familiar with Hormozi. I really like him, Alex Hormozi, and I've been reading his books recently, and so much of what he says is stuff that I already do, and so I'm like, oh, I can see why this is working, because I'm already doing the things he's saying to do. So we always make sure our offer solves a problem, has to solve a problem. It shows great value. That's what makes it a no-brainer. Like, if you've got a great thing and you really want to sell it, but people aren't buying it, and you think it's, I don't know, because it's too expensive or people don't have the money, it's not really ever that. It's because you're not showing the value of why it's a great return on investment for people. I don't just mean monetarily either. Like, a return on investment could be that their mindset is different. It could be that they've worked out how to do the thing that they wanted to do. And also, if you can give a guarantee, then it becomes a no-brainer offer. You don't need things like fake scarcity, which is what often people are being taught out there, or, you know, tactics that might make you feel a bit unethical. If you have all 3 of those things, it will sell if you have all 3 of those things. And so, like, start thinking about when you've grown your audience, and even think now, if you've got an audience and you're not making 10K months and you've got an audience sitting there, are you actually giving them what they want, first off? And have you asked them? And secondly, is it a no-brainer? Can you really clearly show that what you're putting out there is solving a problem, is great value, and there's a guarantee? If you're not doing all those things
to our audience's mind and understand their biggest problems, what's keeping them up at night, when we put that offer out there and we have all these 3 things, it's going to fly off the shelf. And that's what you want. And you'll know when this happens. You'll know when you've got it, because suddenly the interest will be so much, it will fly off the shelf. And it feels amazing when that happens.
And sometimes it flies off the shelf for 6 years in a row. And that's brilliant. Like, that's what happened with our one-to-many program, because we co-created it with our audience. I'm just going to answer a couple of questions here, because somebody's put, how can you how can you sort of co-create with your audience? How can you ask them? Literally just ask them. You could do this in a poll. So what I wouldn't do is say, hey, what do you need help with? Because you just get silence, or everyone will put, like, making money, whatever. But what you could do is a poll, like, which of these 3 things do you want to happen? Someone's put they've asked lots of times, but still no takers. They're watching and not buying. That either means, they're the wrong audience, or you're asking the wrong questions. It might be that they're the wrong audience and that you've grown the wrong audience, but you'd need to look at your lead magnets to see if that's the case. What if you can't give a guarantee? You can always give some kind of guarantee. The guarantee doesn't have to be you will make money or this will happen or you will get your money back. That doesn't have to be what the guarantee is. Guarantees can be all sorts of different things. So here's where business owners go wrong in this part. Their offer is a nice to have rather than a must have. That worked in 2020, 2019, doesn't work anymore. Or they offer the wrong thing to an audience that doesn't want it, or they don't show the value. So how we help with this in Kickstart, we have monthly offer creation sessions to help you put together offers that really stand out and that you're excited to put out there. People can tell if you're excited to put an offer out there. If your energy is down because you don't even think it's that great, then no one's going to buy it. Like, you have to show how much you love it.
And sometimes the offer is great. I find this all the time on Kickstart. Like, the offer is absolutely brilliant, and just a few tweaks need to be made in how you're selling this brilliant offer, because it's not flying off the shelf, because you're not conveying how amazing it is. So sometimes it's only a few tweaks that need to be made to get that sold to more people.
I'm going to answer this just to give an example. So Valerie said, self-leadership, is that peace of mind or health? You need to go loads deeper. So what you need to look at here is what the problem is. Why do they need self-leadership? Why is that important to them? Is it a nice to have or is it a must have? And if it's a must have, why? As soon as you can link it to the why they need that right now, you will know whether it's a link to wealth, health, or peace of mind, because the symptoms matter more than what you're selling. Okay, let's do a visibility strategy. This is one that hardly anyone has, and they definitely need it. Like 80% of what you do on a daily basis, if you have an online business, is being visible, and yet people don't have a visibility strategy. So stop doing the praying and spraying technique of hoping that something you do is going to work and then not even knowing what did work when it does work because you didn't really measure it. You should be using a multi-layered visibility strategy to get seen everywhere without being on social media all of the time, because nobody wants that life. Remember, you need to be consistent, but not constant with your visibility. And I really do believe that 80% of your marketing should be getting visible to more people to get them on your list, because the more people on your list, the more people that are going to buy. Like, if you think about what an online business is made of, and this is why I don't think it's complicated to make lots of money. I think people make it complicated. It's just something that looks like this. It's just a funnel with people going in the top, and then at the bottom of it, people are buying your stuff. So the more people you get in the top onto that email list, the more people are buying your stuff down here. And the more visible you can be in between, the more they'll want to buy from you, because you're nurturing them. It's really simple.
And we've got to pay attention to what is working. Stop doing something, spending time and effort on something that isn't working. Where are your leads coming from? How can you do more of that? What's converting best for you? So often when I work with clients, they don't know the answer to these things, but yet they're vital metrics for us to be growing and scaling. So make sure that you're paying attention to what's working.
Because that way you can be strategic. You can write your strategy really easily when it comes to visibility by looking what's working already. Yeah, metrics are everything. And I didn't have metrics in my business for the first year. I do regret that, because every time we do anything, we get data. That data can be used to perfect what we're doing. So even if something fails, we've got data. So it's not a failure. So where we see business owners go wrong with number 4, with visibility, is it's sporadic. Like, might do a bit of visibility today because I'm feeling it, or I look all right, but I'm not going to do anything else for the rest of the week. Or it's only centered on social media. A multi-layered visibility strategy is not social media. Social media is one tiny piece of the puzzle. You need to do all of the rest of the types of visibility. You need to layer it up so that people continue to see you even when you're sick, on holiday, and don't want to do anything. Like, those things need to be out there. So whether that's getting on podcasts, training in other people's groups, getting on stages, writing a book, starting your own podcast, I don't really care what it is, as long as you're doing more than just social media, it's going to work better for you. The other thing we see is results never being evaluated, or fear kicks in. People get scared to be visible. So in Kickstart, we have 2 in-person events. One is just concentrated on visibility and marketing strategy. And we have a monthly mindset session to overcome visibility fears, because we see so much of it. And we really do need to get over visibility. Now, somebody's put imposter syndrome is real. I have a difference in opinion there. I don't believe imposter syndrome is a thing. I think that what we've done as humans, what we always do, is we give ourselves a reason not to have to do something. And imposter syndrome sounds medical. It's got the word syndrome in. What a great reason not to have to be visible. All imposter syndrome is you're new. You haven't done it before. You know, you haven't got the experience of it. Of course, you're going to feel like it's scary to do something. It's all right to be scared, as long as you still do it. It's all right to have fear, as long as fear is not the loudest voice in your head. Like, none of these things are problems, and they shouldn't be stopping you from doing things. So you have to find ways around it using mindset. Oh, well, I'll leave this one to Charlie. It's not my bag.
Activity 5, selling. Well, it is your bag, isn't it? You're bloody brilliant at it, but it's what I love to talk about, so I'll do it. You need to actually ask for the sale. So many people don't ask for the sale. You could all go away from this masterclass tonight and ask for the sale. Put it out there. Reach out to people who've been interested. Go and talk to people. Start conversations. You don't need to wait for your audience to be big enough to sell, and you don't have to. You are ready to sell from day one. Let's go. You need to sell every single day, not just when you're launching. I talk to people about putting their offer out in 6 different places every single day, because we need to be selling. We know that we're going to be doing lots of other things. We're not just going to be selling. We're going to be doing our secondary messaging, our tertiary messaging. We're going to be having like a full 360, this is who I am. But we are also going to be selling every single day. And we're going to be starting conversations with the intention of selling, because we're business owners. And actually, without sales, we don't have a business. So sales is super important. I won't say it's the most important thing, but it's super important. Sales psychology is important here. We want to be really working to uncover our ideal clients' biggest problems. What's keeping them up at night? How can we get inside their head so that when we sell to them, we're talking directly to them and they're like, oh my gosh, I need this thing. This is going to really help me. Lead generation goes hand in hand with your sales strategy. So if this is our funnel here, a very professional funnel, we need leads constantly coming in. Whose biggest problem is that they just don't have enough leads coming in. And that's because you're not doing lead generation enough. You need to be doing it on a weekly basis, if not daily basis, because we need to be filling this funnel up all of the time.
So there's always going to be people to buy from you. Like Charlie does this thing where every single morning she does daily sales actions, so that you're always
every day.
9 to 10, always generating new leads. And whenever we do that in Kickstart, you can see the difference. People then go, oh, I've just sold to these people. Well, of course you have, because you've brought new leads in. And that's what it's all about. There are only 2 things in business: getting leads, selling to them. Doesn't matter how we do it. Like, we could be launching like I do, or we could be selling daily like Charlie does. It doesn't matter. You're getting leads in. We've got you in. You are leads. We are selling to you in one way or another. That is just what business is. And yet we complicate it so much.
So Ruth has just asked, what are some of the daily actions? Well, number 1, lead generation. I do it all of the time, every single day, 9 till 10. It's so important. And when I started doing that, guess what? My sales went up dramatically. The other thing is following up with every single person who comes anywhere near you. And it doesn't need to be pushy or sleazy. It can be nurturing and relationship building. Also, putting your offer out there all of the time. That's another daily sales action, which will hugely change your financial position. I talk to people about being in the top 2% of salespeople, because what happens if you're in the top 2% of salespeople, in your industry, you start to lead the industry and it separates you from the crowd. So all of a sudden you don't have any competition. So if you're, I don't know, an osteopath and you're in a whole group of osteopaths, but you are the osteopath who puts your offer out every day, follows up with every lead, and is always doing lead generation, you're just setting yourself aside. Don't know why I came up with osteopath. That's a bit of a crazy one. Setting yourself aside from everybody else. So suddenly you don't have any other competition. You're leading the market. And that's what I want for everybody. I want you to be in control of the sales in your business. So you're not just waking up and, you know, hoping on a wish and a prayer that the sales come in, but you actually know, today I want to make 4 sales. So I need to have 20 conversations. And to have these 20 conversations, I need to do all of this activity. And that's what I'm going to do. I know that I'm in control of this activity, and so therefore it will get me those conversations to have the sales. And suddenly sales become really easy and something that you're in control of.
Because all you're doing is converting leads and you're forecasting what's coming in. And Stu says, how important is the quality of the leads? We want them to be good quality leads, but we're going to do that with the stuff we've already talked about growing an audience. We're going to make sure that the audience growth activities bring you the quality of the leads.
And also your messaging is huge for that as well, because if you're talking directly to the right people and you're putting out the energy of who you are, you're only going to get good leads in. I'm not interested in any other leads apart from great ones.
Of course. And that's why messaging was number 1 on our 5 things list, because all of these things go together to make magic. Like, you get these 5 things right, you will have a 6-figure business in no time. It really isn't that complicated. Where business owners go wrong when it comes to sales, well, they just don't do daily sales activities. They don't happen, as many are just waiting for their audience to get big.
There's so many people out there who aren't actually selling. So this is a question for you. If you're watching thinking, is this me? Like, people are waiting on social media for someone to go, oh my gosh, I want to buy from you. That doesn't happen. You need to go out there and make the sale. You've got to ask for it. You've got to close them down. You've got to constantly be getting those leads in. And what we want to avoid is this feast and famine situation where you're like, okay, I'm really going to do all of the things. This is the month. It's February. Let's go. Put all the stuff out there. And you're like, yes, perfect. I've made the sales. And then next month you lose energy. So you're like, oh no, not making any sales. We want to get a consistent, this is how much money I'm bringing into my business. This is how I'm doing it. I'm in control of the sales in my business. And I know that I'm going to get this many sales each month. Every fortnight in Kickstart, we have our lead generations call, which is my favorite. It's my favorite. We don't learn on this call. No, we don't, my friends. I tell you exactly what to do and we go and do it. If you're in the chat and you've been on one of my lead gen calls, then tell everybody, because actually I don't think there's anybody else doing this. I just get really bossy and I'm like, right, let's do this thing. And then at the end of the call, I have my lead gen queens or kings, who are the people who have brought in the most leads. So we make it into a little competition. Competition always helps with the sales process. And yeah, look, there's Natalie Potts saying they are epic. Love a competition. We always have loads of fun, but actually people get results on that call. Oh my gosh, Charlie, I've just made a sale. I've just booked a call. I'm going to meet someone tomorrow.
It's really good fun.
Because we take action and we get amazing results. So yeah, they're my favorite calls.
It's why it's important. These 5 things are important. So these 5 things over all the other things you're being told to do out there will make massive shifts in your business, and done consistently will get you to 6 figures and beyond with ease, really. That doesn't, if you think about the 5 things we've just said, that's not a struggle. That's not going to take you loads of time. It's going to be easy to get there if you consistently do them and try and block out the noise of all the other millions of things that apparently you're supposed to do as a business owner, and actually do stuff that works. So it's really common to think it needs to be difficult to get there. Surely making this much money has to be difficult, that you need to do everything that everyone is shouting about, but you just don't. You can make the decision. It's going to be easier. I made 6 figures in my business in 5.5 months from starting. It wasn't difficult to do. You can concentrate just on the things that move the needle, but I want to make it even easier. So now I want to look at the business model you have that you're going to do these 5 activities in. And this is how you can work out the model that's right for you. So looking at a few different things. One is, are you an extrovert or an introvert, or somewhere in the middle? So let us know in the chat, are you an extrovert or an introvert, or somewhere in the middle? In the middle. Introvert, extrovert. Okay, cool. We have a range of people here. And then you want to look at, do you have a small audience right now or a large audience right now? Small, large, 45,000 is large. Okay, so this can help you decide what might be the business model that works best for you right now. So if you have a small audience and you're an introvert, you're probably looking at an agency model because it works really well for small audience introverts. If you are an extrovert with a small audience, you'd probably go for high ticket or group. If you have a large audience and you're an extrovert, go for launching. That's me, by the way, extrovert with a large audience. Launching courses, memberships, workshops. If you're an introvert with a large audience, go for evergreen courses, memberships, and workshops. So there's different models depending on your personality. So which of those 4 modules would you start with first? And which of the 5 activities we've talked about do you need to dedicate more time to? Let me know in the chat.
There's lots of people asking, what's an agency service?
So an agency model is where you're doing something for them. So let's say you are making websites for people. It's like a done for you service. So you don't have to be the one that's good at stuff. You could hire people in to do it.
And this is what flies off, well, lots of things fly off the shelf for me, but this is one of the things that flies off the shelf for me when I or my team go and sell on behalf of somebody else. And that's your agency model. Go and do it for them. So I teach people how to make more sales in their business, but I also go into businesses and sell for them. And that's the agency model.
Yeah, so we have an agency to publish books for people. So if people don't know how to do their own, we do it for them. And we also have launching. So if people want us to come in and launch for them, we go in and do that. So I wanted to give you some results from people so that you can see that this can happen. So this is Stacey. Stacey's amazing. She has been in Kickstart now for 6 months. So from a standing start in her business, it took her 4 months to make the investment back, which is normal. She's currently sitting at 284% return on her investment, having made 23,000. She has another £15,000 in the pipeline, and it's only 29th of January. She's enjoyed £10,000 weeks and a £7,000 day, something she never thought was possible. And she loves lead generation and discovery calls. So we've got Stacey to love sales and making money, which is really what we wanted to do. We've also got Jenna here. So Jenna's been in for 6 months as well. She's PR. So she planned to launch a group program, but then she needed to temporarily homeschool her son instead. So it kind of went out the window. But because of Kickstart, she was able to come up with different ways to pivot the business as the big launch couldn't happen. So because of us, and we gave her some feedback on her business and her monthly one-to-ones with her business strategist, she's made her money back and is really thankful for the support because she's doing so much more now. It's crazy how much Jenna is doing, but it's great because I can see her agency business is going to boom. So you need the roadmap, you need the community, you need the mindset to build your 6-figure business in integrity with your values. So just to recap, today you learned business is not one size fits all. You can build a business based on who you are and what you value. There are 4 different models for building a 6 to multi-6-figure business. And there are 5 activities you need to concentrate on no matter what the model is. You can't reverse engineer this process without seeing underneath. You're seeing the tip of the iceberg, and I want you to know that. From the outside, you might see a lead magnet or an ad, but you're missing the strategy that makes things work behind the scenes, the systems required to make each business model work for you are nuanced, they're specific. There's a lot of detail underneath the surface that go into making it profitable, sustainable, and enjoyable. And we don't want you to miss any of this or jeopardize your chance at finally building a business that gives you that freedom and that income. And so I'm going to show you the roadmap in a second so you can see exactly what it looks like. But we don't want you to have to buy 4 or more different programs to teach you how to build each of those different businesses as well, and then have to pay to be in masterminds, which is what lots of people are doing. There's a way to do all of that. So let me just give you a sneak peek of the Kickstart roadmap that our people who are in Kickstart use to get to six figures. So Shelley, can you share that with us?
And this is something that we hear all the time. Like, I don't know what to do next. If I only knew what to do, then I would do it. And I've felt like that in my business as well. So the roadmap shows you exactly what to do so that you can follow it step by step. It's amazing.
So this is the roadmap here. So you can see how to use the roadmap. And you can see it goes along. So it starts with goal setting and strategy. It goes across to money mindset. And then it goes to ideal client, messaging, which we talked about, audience building, which we talked about, offer creation, we talked about, and the visibility strategy. And we've also got sales generation and building a team out as well. So in each of these different sections, like, we want you to go through and tick things off. And so let's say we were talking about defining your vision and mission. If you looked into that, you would see videos, or there might be just some explanation there that you could go and look at. There's videos and tools that you could watch. And then once you've done that work, you tick it off so that you can know what you've done and that you've done everything you need to get to that six figures. So I just wanted to show you that roadmap, to show you that it is possible to have a roadmap that just shows you exactly what to do. Okay, so I'm just going to go back on. If you can stop sharing, Shelley, I will go on to.
Why won't it let me stop sharing?
I don't know. I think I can make you stop sharing. Hold on, let me try and do it.
So new stare, but not. Thank you.
There you go. So I wanted to just tell you about Kickstart, about our mastermind. So thank you for bearing with us while we tell you a little bit about this. So it's a mastermind to get you to the six-figure or multi-six-figure mark. And I wanted to tell you what you get in it, because it's different from any other mastermind out there. You get a one-to-one with a strategist that is trained by me, CPD trained strategist, so that every month you can actually talk to somebody and make sure you're on the right track. You get an ever-growing roadmap that you just saw that shows you all of the steps to take. You get monthly hot seat calls with me and Charlie. You get monthly mindset sessions with Renee. You get monthly content creation sessions with Shelley. You get monthly offer creation sessions with Renee, fortnightly lead gen and sales calls with Charlie, because she's going to have you like making sales on the calls. A private community for support, and an in-person meetup, and a ticket to our sales and strategy day as well. So we've got you covered for anything that's in that roadmap. But we realized that that wasn't all. So if you join this week while we've got cart open by the 5th of February, you will also get these amazing bonuses. All 4 of our business model courses. We have a course on evergreen, high ticket sales, Challenge Genius, which is how to launch properly, and the agency model. These are full-blown courses, like 6 to 10 modules in each of them, an hour long. These aren't like mini courses. These are full-blown courses that we sell for over £1,000 each. You're going to get all 4 of them. Plus, you're also going to get Charlie's franchise success, if you ever are thinking about a franchise model, and the science of selling. So you will have everything you could possibly need to get to this multi-six-figure mark.
And in my science of selling, there is all of the training of exactly what you need to do, but also there are templates, there's sales scripts, there's spreadsheets that you can use to figure out the conversion. There is everything that you need, not only to learn how to sell, but to implement and use exactly what I'm using in my business, in your business.
Brilliant. The investment, if you pay in full for 6 months in the mastermind, is $7,997. We have got a pay in 6, because we know that if you're not at that 6-figure mark yet, it's more difficult to pay in one go. So it's $1,375 a month for 6 months. This includes VAT that you can claim back as well, because you will hit that VAT level. And we're giving you a guarantee. We know it works, because we're just showing people the same things we've taught hundreds of other people that have made 6 figures. So if you put the work in, and there are criteria of what put the work in means, which means watching things. You have to watch everything, but you need to watch some of them. And you don't make at least the amount of the investment back in the first 6 months, you just come in again for free. And you keep doing that, until you make it back. But you have to show that you have actually done the things we've said on the roadmap. Building a six-figure business isn't about hustle or grind. It's about working smarter, not harder, and having the spaciousness and freedom to actually live your life. So that is our presentation. If you want to come into Kickstart, or at least look at the sales page and the testimonials, then go to kickstartmastermind.com and you'll be able to see everything there. We're open until next Monday, but I just want to answer a few questions if we have time. Let me go on to the chat.
Ruth's asking how many people are on the calls generally, and certainly on my sales lead gen calls, there's usually about 20 people. I can always answer all of the questions, make it really personalized. Obviously, I know people's business in Kickstart. I know what they're doing. So when they're asking questions, I can give really personalized advice on what it is exactly that they're selling. So the calls are, I find, a really great number of people so that you can bounce off of each other, but also enough people so that we can give personalized feedback and suggestions.
Yeah, it's the same with the hot seat calls, 15 to 20, I would say, on the hot seat calls. And what I will say is you need to come to the calls, because if you go into any kind of mastermind and you're just looking at a roadmap, that's not going to be enough. You need to come to the calls. You need to work at things. If you have a problem, you need to tell us. We're in the group every day. So if there's problems and you're like, I just can't get past this bit, I don't know why I'm stuck on this, whether it's mindset or whatever, that's what we're there for. Like, we're in the group every day, so you can ask us. Can this be for people who offer local services? Yes, because there's probably going to be more you can do than offer local services as well that we'll have ideas for. What is a healthy margin from a 10 to 15K monthly revenue? If you were to ask businesses the average healthy margin, they'd say 20 to 22%. I prefer 50 to 70% as a nice margin.
Katie's asking, do people who are selling B2C see the same level of success with 10K months as they do with B2B? Absolutely, all of the time. I've just had somebody message me just before I came on this. She's a sleep coach, saying she's hit her first 10K month. And we find, and especially with sales, it doesn't matter if you're selling a product, selling a service, running a hairdresser's, doing a bricks and mortar thing, or running an online business. The sales strategy stays the same. So you will get the same results regardless of who you're selling to.
Yeah, that's so true. Someone's put, I'm literally starting from scratch while doing a full-time job. Do you know what you want to sell? Do you know who you want to help? If you do, yes, we can help you. We'll just speed things up for you. If you are like, don't even know what my business is going to be, it's probably not the right fit for you. If you've got an idea, we can help you with it.
Tracy's saying, can you recommend anything for someone who really wants to make a success and has a big dream, but can't be visible due to her current job, safety reasons with the people that I work with?
It's tricky, but you can still do it. There have been people that have done it. So the way to do it is to give yourself a different name, first of all. So we've had people that have a sort of stage name for their business, and to have a persona. Now that persona could be a cartoon, but you need to have a persona who still has your opinions, if you like. So you're still coming across, but there are definite ways to do it. What does
go on your email list as well?
Yeah. What does a hot seat call compromise? Yeah, it's a group session where we all help each other, because it's a mastermind at the end of the day. It's not just about us teaching you stuff. It's not like a course where there'll be things to teach you all the time, although you have now got 6 courses as well. But it's not really about that. It's about following a roadmap yourself. You'll all be at different stages of that roadmap. And then when you have problems coming in, and we all help each other to sort it out. Will this offer be open again later in this year? I'm off on maternity at the moment, we won't be able to do it. It won't be open, this particular offer won't be open this year, but there may be other offers that come along.
Someone's asking, how does this work if you're within network marketing? And I've worked with several clients who are in network marketing, and you can absolutely grow and scale your sales. You might want to teach other network marketers how they can market or make sales or grow and scale their business, or you might just want to grow and scale the business that you've already got. Either way, Kickstart will help you do that.
Yeah. What happens at the end of the 6 months? Roll on or end? It's up to you. We have people that roll on, or people say, okay, I've got exactly what I need, and they go.
Would you say people move up to your
yeah, they come into DI. Because what the point of Kickstart is to get you to that 6 or multi-6-figure mark. Because if you get to the 300,000 to 400,000 a year mark, you can then apply to come into my high level mastermind Destination Inspiration, where we only take on a really small number of people. Would you say I'd need to go deeper by saying I help grow and generate leads by connecting with your ideal client state of mind? Even deeper than that. That just tells me one small thing about what you do. Is it suitable for physical products? Yes, because you still need to sell those physical products. You still need to have messaging around the physical products. You still need to build an audience.
Beautiful nails and body salon saying, how could this help if it's something you can't buy online? Beauty treatments. So, I mean, I think everybody needs to be an online business, regardless. You can sell those things for people to come into your shop or whatever it is online, even though it isn't, they're not receiving that online. But also, I bet there's loads of stuff that you could do in the online space. You could have a passive income product. You could teach other people to do what you do. There's plenty of scope for you to be an online business if you want to, but also you could sell what you already sell online.
Yeah. As Stella said, can you let me know what days and dates the schedule is? We can't do it, but what we do is it's all mucked around. So what we don't do is have everything at the exact same time every week, because there's always going to be somebody that can't make that time. So we move them. Some things are at 3 p.m, some things are at 8 p.m, and we just move them around all the time so people can always make stuff. What might an agency model look like for a relationship coach? Well, you might have other relationship coaches that you accredit, for an example. Okay, I think we're kind of there. It's the same sort of questions. So we will leave you to it. We've answered the what is a healthy margin already. I know you posted it a few times, but we have answered it. Will this stay open to join this year? I'm doing the business strategy with you, and then I want to do your AA course. It will be open again. You just won't get these bonuses.
If anybody is interested, then feel free to send me a message to see if this is the right thing for you. You know, you can message me on Facebook or on Instagram, Charlie Day Sales on Instagram, Charlie Day on Facebook. Pop me a message if you're thinking, yes, I want to do this. And I'm happy to chat to you about if it's the right thing for you to do.
Brilliant. Okay, we're going to leave you. I hope that's helped you, whether you're coming in or not. I hope it's helped you have some ideas of the things that you need to be concentrating on. Remember, business is not complicated. People make it complicated. It doesn't have to be. I'll see you out there on the internet. Really nice to see you guys tonight. Thank you for joining.
Thanks for coming, everybody. See you soon.